welcome to this episode of the Protagonist seat. Yeah. Today...
Episode 3s for a lot of shows.
Yeah, a lot of episode 3s. And you know what? It was a decent week.
Yeah, good stuff. Last week was a lot of setup episodes.
Yeah.
This week had some fun stuff happen.
Going after a couple more characters, maybe doing a little bit more development, but it's ramping up just a little bit. So why don't we start with our good old favorite, the time I got reincarnated as a slime. So, last week we met the goblins. This week we fight the dire wolves with the goblins. And true to form, the main character wins. And
very easily.
Yeah, it's not even... Like, he just trains them for like a day or two, and then they beat the dire wolves. He beats the dire wolves.
The goblins just kind of stand back while he does everything.
It's the traditional OP character just kind of solves side characters' problems for them. So...
And they all decide... The dire wolves, after he beats the alpha, decide, all right, we'll join this guy.
Yeah, because he winds up the alpha in a sticky thread and then cuts off his head with his water slash.
Yeah.
So that was real hard.
And then after he decides to name everybody.
Yeah, because he doesn't realize that naming monsters basically levels them up a whole bunch.
So all the goblins become hobgoblins.
Or goblinas.
Or goblinas.
With mucho opi, which it was, you know, this is not Goblin Slayer, folks. This is not Goblin Slayer.
He would have a hard time with these ones because these goblins got ripped.
Yeah, because they're all leveled up, and
especially the old man guy. I didn't think would get younger from getting like.
He looks named. Like he gets so much younger, and he's just so huge. He is especially huge, and Gobto, I think his name is, doesn't change very much at all.
Yeah,
he's got like a little round head,
and he only names one of the. So. Only one of the dire wolves gets named.
Yeah, because he uses up all of his magical energy and
has to sleep
out.
For like 3 days. I guess the dire wolves level up together.
Yeah, their pack mentality allows them to sort of all just kind of level up at the same time, which seems like some dumb plot stuff, but I don't really care enough to make a stink about it because I don't think it's really that big of a deal.
Yeah.
It makes enough sense. But there's not really a whole lot else other than that.
Yeah, that's kind of the whole episode.
He establishes the ground rules so that basically don't attack humans because I like them and they'll fuck you real hard if you do that.
And don't attack each other.
And don't belittle other races because then they'll get super tough, like in the shonen animes, and come back.
Basically, don't pick fights with anybody.
Yeah, just be cool. And all the goblins and direwolves are just kind of okay with that.
Yep.
They're like, sure. And then it's just kind of over. Some more development. Our main character is gaining allies. He is affecting the world. And it's just kind of more of the same.
Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah.
It was an okay episode.
It did not jump out in any particular way.
And so far, that has kind of been this episode and the last one.
Yeah.
Episode 1 was the heaviest hitter, and it's kind of been plateaued since.
I hope it sort of ramps up a little bit soon. Hopefully he meets I think in the next episode he's going to meet more side characters that will actually stick around. Because I don't know if the goblins and the direwolves are going to stick around or if they're going to just hang out until
I think he's leaving, and I think he's going, the main direwolf's going with him.
Yeah, that's right. He's taking a small group with him to go explore and Oh, yes, that's right. He's trying to find more people from his world who got pulled in to Slime Town.
Yeah.
Although hopefully they're not slimes. But anyway, that's just kind of just about it.
Yeah, I don't have too much to say on this episode.
No.
I thought it was there. It was serviceable.
Yeah.
That's about it.
We are learning plot stuff, and now we will move on.
Now, Goblin Slayer, the D&D party is finally formed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It is the most D&D party I've ever seen. And this episode had some of the most strong D&D themes in general, because we learned that the gods rolled dice to determine who would rule the world.
Yep, you just see the D20, all like the D8s, the D6s, all just rolling across a board.
And they rolled and they rolled and they rolled.
Until they got tired.
Oh, I mean, it's not even subtle anymore. But I'm okay with that because I like Dungeons and Dragons.
And he basically meets a group of people looking for him. The high elf archer.
Yeah, you get to hear her say Orkbolg a whole lot of times.
Yeah, because I guess in their language he's called Orkbolg.
Yeah.
And in the dwarfs' language he is called Beard Cutter.
Oh yeah, Beard Cutter. And then the lizard man just calls him the Slayer of Goblins.
Mm.
And then it's kind of funny because he's like, oh, I think in the human tongue he's called the Slayer of Goblins. And then the guild woman is just, oh, you mean Goblin Slayer? And then he
shows up immediately.
As if summoned by his name, he walks in. And then they just they talk to him. And they're like, hey, there's a larger threat out there of a demon invasion. And he's like, don't care.
Yeah.
Not goblins, don't care.
Like, well, these demons are going to destroy the entire world. And then he just looks at him and goes, yeah, but before that, goblins are still going to attack villages.
Yeah, but there's still
goblins.
And then, they finally get him to join because they're like,
there is goblins.
There are goblins, though.
He's like, okay, I accept.
And then he just immediately leaves. He tells
I'll go right now.
He tells the lizard man to leave a quest with the guild woman, goes down, collects his pay, and is just like, yeah, the lizard man is going to come down with a quest. I'm accepting that one. And then he just leaves.
And I like how Priestess, she ends up saying, like, she looks at him and she asks him, are you going on a quest? Yeah.
Can I come?
Yeah. He's like, oh yeah, I was just gonna let you stay here and rest, because she thought he didn't want her to come.
Yeah.
And she's like, normally when you're doing this, you have a discussion with that person. He's like, isn't that what this is?
Yeah, that's what this is, isn't it?
And she's like, no, a discussion doesn't have you already answer for the other person.
Oh. And then she just smiles and looks at him and is just like, I'm gonna come with you.
And a bunch of people, while she's waiting downstairs for him, approach her and are like, hey, you should stop partying up with that Goblin Slayer dude. He's a silver, but he only kills goblins.
All he does is kill goblins all day. What a lame wad. And, she's approached by overly sexy wizard who brings up a scroll, which later they're like, you remember that scroll that wizard lady brought up earlier? Well, he's still got it. And even though they don't tell us what the scroll does.
And she blows smoke in her face while she's talking to her. And I thought that was the most D&D thing that happened in all of this.
Yeah, it is probably the most D&D thing I've seen so far.
For reference, we have one of our players in our D&D session that just vapes and blows it in everyone's fucking face the entire goddamn time.
It is very irritating. He adds a smoke fog screen to the map, which makes it very hard to see, and he just blows that smoke in everyone's face, which makes it gives me headaches, man. It gives me headaches.
Yeah, it's not a big table.
No, it is a very small table.
Also, his character doesn't smoke, so it's not like he's doing it in character.
We should just, if he
You know what, this whole segment is just fuck off, Devin.
Yeah, fuck off, Devin. He's gonna come after us now. But we'll be ready. We should have his next character smoke if he continues to vape. Just like, oh yeah, Roland smokes. But then they go and there's just like an action movie shot of them all walking together, because of course there is.
I don't like how Goblin Slayer is CG though, where everyone else isn't.
It's so for those who have seen it, I compare it to the Berserk CG.
It's not that bad. It's just it's noticeable.
Yeah.
It's weird because it'll switch from shot to shot. Sometimes he's in CG, sometimes he's not.
But it's only him. It is no one else. Like, they don't just randomly cut to a shot where Priestess is sitting down and she is CG for some reason. Like, they do several times in this episode.
It's gotta be because he's the only person without any, like, solid facial details, because he's always in a suit of armor.
Yeah, that's probably it.
Because he would look the least jarring.
Yeah.
Even though it's still fucking noticeable.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely noticeable. But and they camp. The party camps.
And then the elf gets drunk, and then she basically tries to see what's in Goblin Slayer's bag. Try to see what his scrolls are.
And it doesn't work, because he's Goblin Slayer. He's used to pointy-eared small things creeping up on him.
And she's like, just tell me what it does. And he's like, no. What if the goblins capture you and force you to tell?
He is very paranoid about goblins.
That's his thing.
It is literally his thing.
Oh, and they all chill out, they drink, eat cheese, and...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They eat cheese. It's pretty good.
And the lizard man has never had cheese before.
Yeah, because it turns out lizard folk hunt. They don't raise animals.
And he really likes it.
He fucking loves it. He loses his goddamn mind over cheese.
I'm actually ahead in the source material of that dungeon that they're about to go into, and we're in for a really cool part coming up.
All right, awesome.
I'm not going to get into it since that's literally going to be next week's episode.
Cool.
So, yeah.
So, next on our list is something that had, I would say, a pretty interesting episode that made me a little nervous for where the series is going. Rascal does not dream of Bunny Girl Senpai.
I'd say this was the best episode thus far. I'll give it that.
It definitely is. It is the episode that we knew was going to happen, where main character confesses his love for female protagonist to bring her out of non-existence.
This was way earlier than I expected, though. Like, they did her arc in, like, 3 episodes.
In literally 3 episodes.
Oh, and I remember last week we forgot to talk about the girl who popped up with kick me as hard as you can.
Oh, yeah. She just kind of shows up, and she kicks him because she thinks he's going to kidnap a child. And then he's like, I'm not doing that. And she's like, you have to kick me in return. Otherwise, it's not fair.
But yeah, so it looks like her arc's going to be the next one.
I guess so.
I don't know, because it showed in like the trailer for that, like the preview for the next episode. They seem to be focusing less on the Bunny Girl Senpai and more on some of the other characters who have adolescent syndrome.
Yeah, I didn't anticipate the show being about... I mean, I did hope that it focused on more, or it at least brought forth more people's issues with adolescent syndrome, but I didn't think that it was just going to be like, hey, let's fix everyone's problems. But I'm kind of glad, because I want to see more of that cool shit.
Yeah, that would be neat, because they'll probably end up going back to her story arc, because he fixed it for the school, so everyone in the school now can see her.
Yeah.
But, it's still got the greater problem of,
there is still the outside world.
Yeah, which doesn't recognize her, including our own mom.
Have we mentioned Science Girl?
Not really. Schrodinger's cat girl.
Yeah,
because that's basically the thing she constantly brings up.
She is the one who basically explains the science that is not science. She comes in and explains things away in a somewhat scientific manner, even though it still doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, it's not science as much as it's I guess
it's bullshit.
bullshit. Yeah, bullshit theories.
It's just like, I don't know, it could be this, I guess. I don't fucking, whatever.
Hey, you know that thing, Schrodinger's cat, where if you don't know if the cat in the box is alive or dead until you look at it, imagine that concept applied to a person, but on a mass scale, where as far as I know with the cat theory, it's a visual confirmation where she's walking around school, but yet people can't see her.
Yeah.
Which I don't think, maybe it's not the best analogy.
It's not, it falls apart pretty quickly under any sort of scrutiny. I don't think they thought that part through all that much.
I still want to know more about the sister with the cyberbullying thing.
Yeah. I wonder if she'll be the last one,
Just
maybe.
walk away from the screen!
Last adolescence arc, Kaide goes outside instead of hanging around inside in her
Panda suit.
Panda
Panda
onesie.
pajamas.
In her panda pajamas. And then there's probably going to be more weird Kaide stuff. But yeah, they fixed this arc very quickly.
And the way he fixed it, basically,
to
get the whole school to notice her, was to run in front of the school during a test period and just scream outside so everyone would hear about how much he loves his senpai.
Yep. He literally screamed to the entire school that he loved her, and their love overrode the atmosphere.
I did think it was neat when he figured out that you forget every time you go to sleep. He
Yeah.
stayed up for like 3 days straight
That
just so
was
he wouldn't forget her.
Pretty cool. It took my literally drugging him to make him fall asleep.
I don't even like staying up for a whole single day.
No.
I can't imagine doing 3.
I stayed up for 3 days once, a long time ago.
Why?
Because I felt like it and I could.
I know, I get you could. I mean, there were times probably back in like high school over the summer vacation and stuff where I could have. But why would I want to? Because sleep's so nice.
I wanted to see what would happen. And you know what? Nothing good. I remember at day 3, I started like actually hallucinating because I remember there's this one fucking cricket in my house that I just couldn't kill it.
Did you like do stuff during this time to like stay busy?
Yeah, I think I basically played video games for 3 days straight. And I remember on the last day, I think the last day was the day I had Tyler sleep over, and we just kind of hung out, and then I went to sleep. And naturally, he woke up first because I had not slept for 3 days. So yeah, it sucks, and I would not recommend it. So I feel this man's pain.
Yeah, you know,
dude takes tests. I don't.
Yeah, he did this during exams.
Yeah, and I could not do that. I don't know how he does it.
I can't even do a test with a good night's sleep for the most part. Like,
Yeah.
I show up and I'm like, I studied this last night. I can't imagine just studying straight, just going and just
going.
I think the worst part, whenever you stay up for an entire, 24-hour cycle, is the day when it's, like, you think, you get that second wind of energy during, like, the morning when it starts up. Like, hey, I just did an all-nighter. And noon the next day hits, and you feel like shit. Because the sun is just fully just bright, it's up, and you just feel awful and sick.
Yeah,
It's just disgusting.
It, like, once you crash after your body goes into hyper overdrive, it sucks. You can't go anymore.
Me, Drew, and Nick once stayed up for an entire day, like entire night, where James was the only person who ended up going to sleep, and we just went manic at like the morning hours when
Oh,
like dawn
God.
broke, and we're like, yeah, let's just go walk on a trail. Let's just go out now, because he lived right near like a trail.
Oh, I remember that.
So we just left and we just started going and just walking down the trail, going like, man, this is great. I don't feel tired at all. I feel so awake.
Oh,
I feel
no.
great. We came back. James was just we picked a bunch of plants from outside and we just covered James in them while he was sleeping.
That's some prime prankage. Man, I don't know how. Well, energy drinks. He buys a lot of energy drinks.
Yeah, he buys energy drinks, and I think he takes like caffeine pills or something.
Yeah.
First of all, he takes a lot of them. I don't know. I've never taken caffeine pills.
Dude takes a fuck ton.
I don't know if it's like, with most pills you take like as an adult, like grown man, 3 or 4 of
Yeah.
whatever it is. I see him in this take an entire handful.
Yeah.
Like there's like 16 in his hand and he just takes them all.
Like, I don't know how he survives, because that's a fuck ton of caffeine pills.
With an energy drink.
He's lucky he didn't give himself heart palpitations. But somehow he survives after getting caught by his beloved bunny girl senpai. And then she drugs him to make him go to sleep, and he forgets.
Yeah, slips him the melatonin.
And that's actually where he comes in, because in the first episode, it starts with him picking up his journal and basically reading it and being like, huh? That's weird. Today I met a bunny girl.
And everything's censored for some reason with this, too.
Because that's how it works. When you forget, you also can't see her name for whatever reason.
Even though you wrote it down clearly.
Yeah.
But your brain blocks it out?
Yeah, it's like auto-censorship or something. But he slowly remembers over the day.
Because she helped him with a test question. I can't remember what it is, but that
yeah.
test question comes up on his exam.
I want to say it was related to the word hoshu. Something about hoshu. And it's got like 2 different meanings or something.
Yeah.
Something like that.
But yeah, it was a neat episode, and I think it'll be neat to see. I think it'll be neat to see what happens now that they can do a whole different story arc.
Yeah, I'm curious, but I'm also very nervous because, like, starting that other arc, they could really fuck it up super hard. Or it could be really good. It could just kind of go either way at this point.
Yeah. And next up is Zombieland Saga, which is a show I've already talked extensively about this week.
Oh boy. I love it. It's a show I rave about every week because I fucking love the show. It's great.
Basically, in this episode, Necroducer is going to have them basically do... It's not really a flash mob because they're singing...
It's a guerrilla performance.
Yeah.
That's what it's called.
I love how he doesn't know how to spell gorilla in English.
Yeah, he tries spelling it in English first, and he gets to G-E, and then he just fucking stops.
He crosses it out and just writes it in Japanese.
It's so good.
And basically everyone's into working together on it besides the 2 former idols because
they're being pissy about it.
Yeah, they're being pissy about it. Everyone's trying, even the biker girl chick, because she's super into it now.
Yeah, even biker, she is the typical, I am your enemy, but you beat me, so now I'm your best friend.
Yeah. And they all basically decide to go and do the show, and they all start dancing in public, and it turns into bad CG.
Oh, it looks terrible.
But
it's
again,
so
I'm
bad.
hoping that's like a parody of bad idol CG shows.
I'm thinking it is, just because everything seems to take like a different musical theme, because we've had death metal, we've had hip hop, now we've got the idol episode.
And they're not doing so hot.
No.
Because the small girl keeps falling down because she's small, so she kind of like collides with everybody at the waist.
She's small, so she fall.
Yeah, she's small, so she fall.
I was very, very surprised with Ty's performance because she actually, like, for someone who is still a zombie, she knew the choreography pretty well.
Yeah.
People even remark at one point that she is singing with dried squid in her mouth because to keep her from biting people, they just stuff it right in her mouth.
Yeah, that was a weird one. That was the only show so far where she didn't try to bite people.
Yeah. I think they finally figured out how to keep her in line.
Just stuff her with the squid.
Just put a bunch of squid in her mouth.
And then they're not doing so hot, and the 2 professional idol girls see this from the car, and they decide to jump in and help, and they only get one person applauding by the end who bothered to stay, which was just a little girl.
Yeah, but that little girl is super into it. And then Biker Chick goes over, and she's like, next time, we'll do it better, okay?
And then the mom comes by, and she's just like, what is this?
What the fuck are you doing? Come on, idiot. What are you doing? No, get away from these weird people. And I like how
people just singing in the streets?
Insane. That's disruptive.
And then the cop shows up again.
Oh, yeah.
And then Necroducer pulls the car up. He's like, okay, let's go.
Go, 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 high, go, 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 high, go, 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 high. Oh, he is phenomenal. Because the cop is true to fashion. He's super creepy about it. He's like, hey, girls, you guys can't be doing that without a permit.
I could arrest you, you know.
Do you want me to arrest you? And it's like, ew, this dude is gross, but I love him.
Yeah.
Anyway.
He's like, I think I remember seeing you girls somewhere before.
And then Necroducer comes to the rescue in his nondescript black van.
You know, I feel bad for the cop, though. He's had a rough time. Actually, you know what? He's a pretty inspiring person. Think about that. He's seen zombies on the job now twice, been hit in the head with a shovel, but can still just get up every day and go to work and just be jolly about it.
That's a good point. He must really love serving the peace, because after seeing what this dude's seen, I would not. I'd be like, you know what? I'm turning in my badge and my gun. See you later.
Yeah, not only has he seen zombies twice, he shot a zombie and it didn't go down.
Yes.
So he knows for a fact that was a zombie, which I get, you know, he was kind of quick on the trigger with that one.
Yeah, it was
rainy. It was like a storm. He could have been mistaken. She could have just been horribly sick.
I know. He could have shot a cancer patient, but no, she was an
And then he took a
zombie.
shovel to the head.
Yeah, then Necroducer saved the day and whacked him real hard with a shovel. Maybe that gave him some kind of amnesia or something. And then
the second time where he was doing his rap.
But all right, the rap was really good. And then he gets just swarmed by the rap dudes who freak their shit.
Yeah, because they're all like looking to him to protect them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because he pulls out his gun again, but he can't shoot because they're all like clinging to him.
Yeah, and then they just run away and escape.
This episode didn't have the fans, though. The metalhead fans.
I know. I think because it was a guerrilla performance.
Yeah.
Next time they do a real performance, I think the dudes will show up.
I want these dudes to go from full-on metalhead fans to, by the end of the show, like, idol fans, where they got, like, you know, the glow sticks.
I would be real happy if they made the idol transition. That would be super good. I like... Yeah, I hope they come back. Also, another important point, the idol group now has a name that I've forgotten.
It was like some French-sounding word they like. They were trying to name it French something. I think it's like From Shoo Shoo.
Oh, yeah, it's From Shoo Shoo, because they name it after Ty sneezing after sucking...
From Shoo Shoo.
After sucking on a dry erase marker.
Why? I remember all the titles they were coming up with. That one made... I thought there was going to be something incorporating the zombie idea.
Yeah, but no.
From Shoo Shoo.
From Shoo Shoo. And then everyone is just kind of like, oh, that's cool. All right.
I also like how the biker chick writes everything in kanji.
Yeah, it's great.
So every translation is like a really like...
It's really grungy.
Yeah.
And it always looks like graffiti when she writes it, too. Even though she's using a freaking dry erase marker.
I thought that part where they're all sitting on the, like the little carousel thing. And Tate's spinning them. And you know how Sakura flies off and face plants?
Yeah.
I was so expecting her to get up and her face to just be, like, smeared. Because she's a zombie.
Yeah. I was as well, and I thought that would have been a good moment to have just like a super fucked up face gag, but not this time. Unfortunately, not this time. Maybe that'll be a tie gag.
I noticed, too, is the smallest girl, is her heart on the outside of her body?
I don't know if I can't tell if that's like her actual heart or if it's just like a weird costuming thing.
I know, because it's the cartoon heart with like, it's but I don't know if that's just what a heart looks like in this.
I don't know. It's hard to tell. I do like Courtesan Woman. I think she's pretty A-okay.
I like how Sakura was about to have that moment where she brings everyone together and the courtesan lady just steals it from her.
Yeah, she smacks the shit out of her and then takes the moment.
Because she was about to say, like, guys, you know what? We should just believe in ourselves. But she's like, guys, you know what? And she gets slapped and she's like, the courtesan lady's like, no, we need to believe in ourselves.
We need to pull ourselves together, Sakura. And then everyone's like, wow. That's so inspiring. You know, you're right. We really got to do it. And meanwhile, Sakura's like, oh, yeah, we do need to do that.
She just kind of lets it, like, slide.
Yeah. Well, it just accomplishes the same thing.
Yeah.
You know? Got to let it happen. And I believe that's about everything.
Speaking of girls who are undead.
Oh, yes. Miss Vampire who lives in my neighborhood.
Not in my neighborhood.
Not in my neighborhood. This week, she visits someone else's house. Holy shit.
And it's the first time she gets invited to a friend's house ever.
Yeah, we learn that Sophie doesn't have friends or family, and it's very sad.
And then you learn about her friend who is a vampire who turned her whole family into vampires, and all they do is complain that they didn't like the age they were turned into vampires at.
Yeah, it turns out if you turn your family into vampires at the wrong age, all they'll do is bitch about it.
Like the dad's just like,
couldn't have done it a little sooner so I could have more hair?
And then the mom's like, what about before I had crow's feet? You couldn't do it before then?
Meanwhile, sister's like, my chest is flat.
That's just... that's the universal thing in anime.
Yeah, it's their one thing. I think over the course of this week's episodes, in 3 or 4 of them, characters complain about having flat chests.
Yeah, the first part is basically they just hang out at Akari's friend's house. Yeah, and that's basically it. They just shoot the shit. They
hang out. They learn that Sophie doesn't have friends or family. And Akari is she's so sad about it. She's so sad.
So then they decide, hey, we're going to be your family.
Yeah, and then Akari decides to be a cat, and it's like, weird.
Yeah, because Akari's weird.
Yeah, because she's weird.
And then the second half of the episode, Sophie realizes Akari forgot her lunch, so she decides to go to school and bring it to her.
Sophie goes to school.
And when she goes to school, because she's dressed in all black, because, she's got to block the sun, everyone in the class is like, is that an assassin?
Oh my God.
It's an assassin! And then Akari gets up and goes, oh, hey, Sophie, what are you doing here? And they're like, oh, it's Akari's friend. Okay, that makes sense.
Instantly, everyone is like, oh, it's just Akari's friend. It's fine.
They all calm down.
It literally instantly, because this girl is weird as fuck, and everyone knows it.
And everyone's just cool with her being a vampire. She's like, this is Sophie. She's a vampire.
Yeah.
Oh, I liked the gag where they had her play as the other girl who wanted to skip class.
Oh yeah.
And the teacher knows, but for some reason just doesn't call her out on it.
Because the girl is like, I think her sister is sick or something, or she has to leave to go do something. And Sophie's like, but we don't look alike at all. Our hair is different and we have different builds. And the girl's like, nah, you have a rope, so it's fine. It'll be great.
And then the teacher comes in and she's looking at all the students. She's doing roll call and she's like, Yamada-san. And then Sophie's like, here. And she just, wait a second, that's not Yamada-san. And then she keeps going, I'm Yamada.
Yeah, she's like, are you sure you're in the right classroom? I'm Yamada.
And she, okay.
She just goes real hard on it, and it works.
And Sophie doesn't and normally sleeps during the day, so she's trying not to fall asleep in class because she doesn't want to ruin the girl she's pretending to be's good reputation.
And true to form, at the end of class, the teacher's like, hey, Yamada, good job staying awake this week. And she's like, I could have slept. It was good shit. But it's what I anticipated. Just kind of more, whoa, we can put a vampire in some wacky situations.
I think next week, too, we're soon, because there is in the opening another girl who's a vampire.
Yes.
And I think they showed her, or they teased her this week, where she was talking about how old she is, and because they were reading up on history because they were studying for their class.
Yes, Marie Antoinette.
Yeah, she's like, oh, Marie Antoinette, I was at her execution. A friend brought me.
Yeah, one of my friends brought me.
Apparently, it was pretty cool from what I've heard. And they're like, wait, I thought you went. And I guess the whole time, like, well, her friend's leaning out the window watching, and she's just not even looking.
Yeah, her friend is like, oh, that's so cool. And she's just turned around, like, not having any of it. But I believe, hopefully, we'll see more of her. I think it's about time that they brought her in. They've introduced the other characters. So we'll get another vampire character in this week.
That's just what this show is. It's our nice, just easygoing show. Doesn't require a lot of tension. Like
it's one I skipped the intro of because I don't want anyone to catch me watching that intro.
Yep.
It is kawaii anime girls in middle school intro, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not having that on my conscience. I don't need to see that. I don't need anyone walking in and seeing me seeing that.
They just so I don't know who it would be, but just someone beside your mom just walks in your room like, "Hey, Ian, it's me, your third grade teacher." Oh,
oh, I see. I didn't do a good enough job, I suppose. No, Mr. Crowell, no.
I came here to just congratulate you on life, but seems I was mistaken.
Word around the rumor mill is you're training to become a voice at. Oh no.
I'm sorry. I'll see myself out.
He goes,
damn it.
So now we're in it. We're in the zone. And we're in that particular zone of the JoJo zone. Welcome. It's warm here.
There is a third dimension. Thanks for I forgot what it was.
Now you're entering another dimension. Not a dimension of sound or of sight, but of mind.
You're entering a dimension of muscles, strong men,
Lots of poses.
Musical references.
Homoeroticism.
This week's episode was really good.
It was super good. It was dope as hell.
A lot of tension, a lot of suspense.
A man as large as a bed who looks like a bed until he's not a bed anymore.
That is a big man.
It is a large man.
In fact, that's too big of a man.
It is too big of a man.
No man is that big. That's not a man.
He looks kind of like a baby to me. Just like a very large baby.
And he's drinking his tiny little wine glass.
But it's normal size to us. Because he's a large man.
And basically, this week, Giorno decides he wants to be a gang star. And he has...
Gangstar.
Gangstar. He ends up talking to Bruno, who says, hey, I'll introduce you to my boss. But you got to go through the initiation to see if, you're worthy.
Yeah. And he brings Giorno to the place to meet the capo, whose name is Polpo?
Yeah, I think it's Polpo.
Polpo.
And he's in a prison because, he's a mobster, so I guess he could leave whenever he wanted, but he doesn't bother since it doesn't matter where he goes, he gets whatever he wants. It
would be the same if he was outside of prison as he is inside of prison, so he just stays.
And he basically gives Giorno a mission where if he wants to get in the gang, he has to carry a lighter around all day for 24 hours, and he can't let the lighter go out.
Because it's important to know that you can trust a man.
Yeah, you can trust a man when he's not around.
Yeah.
when you can't see him.
So naturally there's a whole lot of scares where it's like, oh no, the flames go out, and the other character we met from the previous JoJo seasons comes back to look for his passport.
Yep, Koichi comes and breaks into Giorno's room to get his passport back.
Yeah, and we learn that Giorno was actually gonna return it, but he just forgot because Gangnam Style.
Yeah, he was in the middle of getting into a stand battle.
Yeah, he was in nothing big, just a stand battle. And there's a bunch of scares, but it doesn't go out. But then, as soon as he leaves to find somewhere safer, and he walks down some steps, the janitor character that we've met earlier spills water on it, and the flame goes out.
But then the janitor notices, hey, the lighter is still emitting gasoline. So he goes and relights it. But that triggers the mobster's stand, which you didn't get to season 4 yet. So
I did not.
He uses one of these stand arrows from season 4, which were basically, those belong to I forget her name. Like I think it's Eneba or Ediba. In Stardust Crusaders, the old lady with 2 hands.
Oh, yes.
It's revealed in Season 4 that the reason that there were so many stand users was because she had these magic arrows where if you shoot someone with them, it either kills them or they awaken with a stand.
Oh.
And that's the big thing around Part 4 is it all takes place in this town called Morio, and one of the characters' dads was previously working for Dio, so he had one of Dio's arrows. And he was supposed to go create more stand users, I guess. But he ends up, because you know how Dio implanted in Polnareff and Kakooin those little buds, part of them?
The flesh buds.
So the same thing happened to Okuyasu's father. This is basically, Okuyasu ends up becoming like a party member, but his dad was the one that was doing this.
Yeah. His
dad worked for Dio, but when Dio died, the flesh bud went crazy because Dio's dead.
Yeah.
So he's turned into this green monster that can't die, and he's kind of stupid now because it kind of rotted his brain.
Yeah.
So basically they lose the arrow and the whole thing becomes just a bunch of stand users end up getting created in Morio because this dude was trying to find Okuyasu's brother was trying to find a stand user powerful enough to kill his dad.
Cool.
So they could put him to rest, but that created a whole bunch of issues.
Yeah, naturally, that just kind of going around randomly creating stand users does seem like it would cause some problems.
And that ended up, I guess, carrying over into this part where that guy was using a stand arrow to basically, because, the stand was saying how, are you the chosen one?
Yes, are you worthy?
So he was basically stabbing everybody with the stand arrow to see if they were worthy enough to become a stand user.
Now,
old man apparently was not.
He was definitely not worthy. However, Giorno, I guess technically already is because he already has a stand.
Yeah.
But anyway, a stand battle initiates at the end of the episode.
Yeah, I feel like you don't need to get shot with an arrow to be a stand if you got Joestar blood.
Yeah, it's an auto get.
Unless you're Jonathan.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It's JoJo. JoJo is very good.
Yeah, it was a good episode. This whole season so far has been super well well done.
It looks great. It's scripted well. Everything just kind of lines up in a very just a good manner.
The tension in this episode was fantastic.
Yes. I was actually nervous for this stupid lighter at points because I was like, oh shit.
And they set up Pulpo. Pulpo. They set him up so well that he's intimidating. Like the way his voice sounds too.
Yeah.
Where it's got that weird echo to it almost.
Yeah.
It's distorted.
They did a very good job. And I'm looking forward to the rest of the season.
And next up is Double Decker Doug and Kirill. Who actually were not the focus of this episode.
No, we got to learn about our side characters this time.
Rookie and Pink.
Yep.
This was a them-themed episode.
And it was pretty good.
Oh, and we learned that Derek, the former partner of Doug, who it's been implied has been dead this whole time. Nope, he just went to the hospital, and now he's just retired, and now he's a bartender.
He's fine. He just owns a bar now.
And Kirill is as surprised as we are, because he's like, I thought he was dead. And everyone looks at him like he's crazy.
Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
No,
yeah. He thinks back, and he's like...
No one actually technically said he's dead.
No one said it. I was assuming wrong. And we meet Derek, and Derek's just... He's all right. He seems like an all right guy.
Yep.
But mostly the focus is on Pink and Rookie.
It was nice to actually see the characters hanging out outside of work in this one.
Yeah. I like how it shows them outside of work. I think it gives them a lot of character depth and personality, because it's like they exist outside of work. You know, they do shit. They don't just work all the time. They do shit. Basically, the gist of this episode is they believe someone has been peddling Anthem. So they send...
Yeah, the episode is kind of a mix in, or like a clash in cop philosophy, where Pink is I play by my own rules, I'm the renegade type. Whereas Rookie's like, no, this isn't our jurisdiction, that's not our department.
That's not our department. And then the dude fucking gets away, and Pink is real mad. But then they bring it back.
I like how, I think her codename's Robot?
Yeah.
Robot and Kirill get captured later. Turns out Robot was just,
She is a robot.
Yeah, so she was faking through the whole thing, but Kirill actually got captured.
Yeah. She was like, oh, actually, I was just doing that to keep you guys here. You're all under arrest now. And
she just breaks the chains, like, instantly.
And this is going to lead to one of my favorite gags. At the end of the episode, Kirill kind of pulls Doug aside, and he's like, hey, I think Robot is an actual robot.
And apparently the narrator mentions that this is common knowledge.
Yes, everyone just knows this, except Kirill, naturally.
But Doug is an asshole. It even says that the narrator's like, but Doug is an asshole. So Doug plays along like, no way. She's you think?
Don't worry, I'll keep this one quiet, and I'll do some digging by myself. That's good shit. I think they're a good pair. I like how Doug and Kirill work together. I like how Rookie and Pink are working together.
Now, the narrator said at the end, now you understand all the characters so we can move on with the main plot. But I don't know about the Robot that much, or the...
Yeah, Robot and Blue Girl.
Yeah. I think her name's Trish.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's girl with undercut.
Yeah. Biker girl. Because she rides a bike.
They have still not gone into their story or really talked about them at all, which is kind of like, these guys aren't important. And there's two more guys, but that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope they do.
That would be nice.
Because I do like Robot, and I am curious to see what happens with Robot, and I don't know anything about Biker Chick. Like, anything. She just is.
Yeah, she's there. I think she was playing pool when they were at the bar all together.
Yeah.
I guess so far her character trait seems like she's the cool one,
I guess.
And
she has an undercut. That's pretty cool.
And yeah, it makes it almost seem like Doug is he's like the group uncle or dad sort of.
Yeah.
I guess not uncle because he's kind of an asshole, but how Rookie got upset at Pink, so she's there getting drunk, venting her problems to him.
Yeah, and Doug clearly does not give a shit.
But he's just like, yeah, that's just kind of how she is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's Pink. She's like that. That's fine. You should try talking to her, etc., etc. But still more quality episodes. I like the character dynamics. I like to see how they develop.
And we're probably going to get more into Red Tooth guy in this one.
Yeah, we'll get the establishment of our main villain.
Bad Anthem Man.
Esperanza. That's what it is. It's Esperanza.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a good episode, and I'm glad I watched it later in the week so I can remember what happened.
Me too. It was a good call. Something that does air later in the week. We've got Hinomaru Sumo next. More sumo action.
We actually get to see some sumo fights.
Yeah, and it's like actual sumo.
And actual sumo is kind of...
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's not terribly interesting.
It's kind of boring, I'll say that.
Yeah.
It's only fun watching the Hinomaru fight, but even then, all it is just grab him here and make a face going, ugh!
Let me grab him and try and throw him, or let me slap him with my open palms.
It feels like it's, like obviously a bunch of shows like that do their sort of, they have to come up with move names and stuff.
Yeah.
It feels like they're forcing it with this one.
They're forcing it pretty hard.
Like, all he does is lift it, try to flip the guy, and it's like Demon Twist or something.
I could kind of tell the difference between the Demon Spin and the Demon Slayer Slam or whatever it is, but then he mixes them to defeat an enemy, and I had no idea. I couldn't tell the difference between that and the first Demon Spin Slam.
Yeah. Sumo's not an interesting sport to me.
It was. I was hoping they would do something stylistically interesting to make up for it, and they
just kind of do a still frame where it's almost... They do a still frame with sort of sketched in...
Yeah.
Like a demon or a snake.
It's not really enough. I kind of hope they do more, but this one was a little weaker. But we do meet new characters. We meet a different school, one of the rival schools.
I saw online, I guess the people who read the manga for this show really don't like this adaptation.
Oh, yeah?
Because I guess they skip a lot of the development.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that kind of stinks. Because, honestly, I think the development with a lot of these shows is some of the best part. You know, you get to learn these people and their struggle as they strive to be on top.
Yeah, we meet a new guy who's in the sumo club, but he doesn't sumo. Because his dad forbid him because he broke Hinomaru's arm when they were children.
Yeah, his dad is essentially a yokozuna, and he says if my son needs to learn restraint in sumo, then he best not do sumo at all. So the only way he can join the sumo club is if he doesn't participate, which kind of defeats the point
of being in the sumo club.
Yeah.
So basically this guy has just worked to get huge and not do anything with it.
He is super gigantic, and they fight again.
You think he would have maybe decided, you know what? I'll maybe pursue another form of martial arts.
Maybe I should do something else with my spare time instead of nothing.
Yeah.
Just literally nothing. He is also another character who is named after one of the legendary swords. I forget which one. But he is...
I think his name's Kuze.
Yeah, it's Kuze something.
And the other side characters have fights in this one, and the only one that wins is the wrestler guy.
Yeah.
Who uses Western wrestling styles, because no one expects to be,
grabbed
from behind around the waist and
suplexed.
Slam. Yeah, suplexed.
He just does a full-on suplex on this idiot.
It's weird because I guess that's technically legal. You can do that. It's just no one would think to use Western wrestling moves.
He does it super fast, and he's the only one who wins.
Because Delinquent loses, the captain loses, and the super scrawny guy that doesn't
Scrawny boy.
Yeah.
They ask him if he has experience with other sports, and his response is, I played the flute for 6 years.
And I like how the guy who asked him the question doesn't even respond to it. He just immediately turns and asks someone else a question.
Yeah, because, how do you respond to that? What? You joined sumo club. Do you have any experience with sports? I played the flute.
I played the flute for 6 years.
All right, so moving on. We've got Thickest Boy. You've got some good loins, but you don't have a lot of practice, so we'll really focus on that because their supervisor is he's gonna take him right to the top.
Right to the top. And the delinquent sister goes, for no discernible reason, probably to be the female just background character.
Yeah, she is female character. She rants about how her brother's in a diaper.
I think she's there because if she wasn't there, this show would just be thick boys rubbing against each other.
Yeah. And you know what? She was there, and it was still basically that anyway. Because she's there to complain about how her brother's in a diaper, and then she's just gone. She's gone for the rest of the episode.
She provides spectator commentary.
Yeah.
Which usually goes to, how is that happening?
Or the captain basically giving a Speedwagon summary of the fight.
Oh, God. I realized it's like every single anime with the girl asking what happens and the guy with the glasses explaining it as he like pushes in the glasses going, that technique, that's only capable by the most highly trained professionals. I've only seen it a few times.
He is such just a template anime character that I kind of love it because
glasses guy.
He owns the shit out of it because he just is Glasses Man and he just knows everything. I believe.
Yeah.
That is everything. That's all I got.
Next is...
I'm looking forward.
Iraduku, The World in Colors.
I'm looking forward to this one because I like this show.
Yeah, you know what? I'd say this one has been nice so far. It's nice to look at.
Yeah, this show is very pretty. Like, I believe when we were going through the whole master list, there was... I think it was the archery one that we were like, that's going to be a pretty one with no substance. Yeah. This is kind of the opposite of that, where it's a pretty one, but it's got substance to it. Like, the characters feel like characters.
Basically, in this episode, the main character, Hitomi, she ends up deciding she might want to join the photography and the art club, because they're combined, since... they both don't have enough members to function on their own.
They're both short of people.
And she goes there, and the painting guy is like, hey, do you want to try painting something? And she can only see in grayscale, so she's like, okay. And she just kind of paints.
I like how she's
It's not even a bad painting.
No, it's great.
Because he thinks she intentionally chose, like, a weird color scheme.
Yeah, your colors are so bold.
Yeah.
She claims to have never drawn a picture before, and she's like, I
can't
draw
pretty
a picture.
Good.
And it's super good. Like, even without the weird color blindness put into effect, it is a very sound picture. She is a real good artist. Another thing I liked in that scene is when she walks into the photography room, because it's club day at high school.
They take their club seriously, according to the principal.
Yeah, because of course they take their club seriously, because every school and every anime ever takes their club seriously.
Well, yeah, because they don't take the schooling seriously, because that wouldn't be a very fun show.
Yeah, that'd be boring as fuck. Let's watch the witch go to school and learn English. She walks into the club room, and the whole room is in black and white because it's from her perspective, except the tablet at the end of the room, which is the color picture that she saw Main Man Owie painting. That is the only thing in color. And I'm like, you know what? That's keeping with it. That's keeping with it, show. That's keeping with your visual style.
And they end up deciding to go out and promote to get more club members, and she goes with them. One of the dudes in the photography club decides to dress up as a zombie.
Just because.
And the other girl in the photography club dresses up as a nun.
She dresses up as a
Catholic nun.
Which, to be honest, unsurprisingly, she doesn't get a lot of hits. It's Zombie Guy who goes up to people and gets a lot of response.
And then they have to sort of host an event, sort of like a promotional thing, where they're just having a bunch of freshmen show up and try out the cameras.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what they were originally going to do in this scene, where they needed someone to model, so they had Hitomi model.
Yeah, because the captain got called away to photograph the drama club's thing, because that got pushed up.
So the girl who was going to model had to take his place and run the event, so they asked her to do it, and it's at the pool, and I guess they did like a fog machine where you can't see the surface of the pool, and they were going to have her walk across the water with one specific special type of chemical or something or powder they had in
I had a couple issues with this.
Yeah. That isn't a thing.
They've got you've got magic, and you've got these weird magic powers. That's powders, I should say. That's fine. I can suspend my disbelief for that. These people go out to this with one specific thing in mind. So instead of just like, well, we only need this one powder, so we'll take this one powder with us. Yeah. They take a whole tray full of powders.
Basically, what happens in the scene is Hitomi's supposed to grab the blue vial and use that to sprinkle into the water and then walk across it. But since she's colorblind, she doesn't grab the right one.
Yeah.
But she still walks across the water.
Because magic.
Instead of calling out to her or just letting her finish after they realized something was wrong, they're like, hey, she's walking across the water. But she grabbed the wrong one. Hitomi, you have to come back. That wasn't the right one.
She's also, at this point, she is also just at the exact opposite end of the pool. She is basically in the home stretch of walking across.
Yeah, just let her finish.
And then they roadrunner her by just being like, hey, you grabbed the wrong powder.
Quick, you're gonna fall.
Come back across the whole pool. And then she's like, what?
And then she falls. So it was her own natural magic that let her walk across the water. But I want to know what fucking powder exists that lets you do that.
I don't know. Because they say the star powder, but I remember them taking the star powder earlier, and all it did was make a rainbow.
Yeah, it made a sparkle. That's it.
So I don't know. Maybe she wasn't supposed to walk, and they were just... Well, I don't know now, because they kept saying that, all you got to do to be the model is walk. That's all you need to do, literally.
Yeah.
But if she wasn't going to have to walk and just, use the star powder and have people take pictures, then why even say that? I don't know. It was not as bulletproof, the writing in this episode.
Yeah, that whole thing was the biggest problem I had with it, where I didn't understand what was happening with that.
It was a cool setup to a good moment that they clearly did not think through well enough, and just kind of were like, it's fine. She's walking, and then that's the magic powers, and she walks across the pool.
Anyway, after that scene, she ends up avoiding them all the next day, and they're all really sad about it because they think it's their fault because they pressured her into it and doing something she didn't want to do.
It's your typical high school. She's embarrassed, so she doesn't want to be seen by him, but they think that she's avoiding them on purpose because she's mad at them.
But then she shows up, and they're cleaning the pool because they got punished for using the pool. Yeah. And then she helps them out, and she joins the club.
Yeah. Oh, and main boy...
he knows.
He figures out she's colorblind because he's like, you grabbed the wrong powder, and that's also why your colors and your painting were all fucked up. That wasn't a creative choice.
And she's like, I don't want anyone to know. It would just be easier. And I'm like,
why? Yeah, I didn't think that made a whole lot of sense either.
Does that bother people?
She is afraid that they're gonna look down on her like, you're colorblind? Get out of here, you plebeian. You Philistine, you can't be in art club if you can't see color.
Yeah, but I guess since main boy knows, he tries to help out by mentioning to the other guy, he's like, hey, you do monochromatic pictures, right? And she's like, what's that mean? And he's like, oh, he just does pictures in black and white. That's something you could do.
Yeah, that's something she could do, right? And he's like, yeah, I guess so. It's kind of weird that you just bring that up like that.
No, he didn't say that, but that's what a normal person would say.
It wasn't verbatim. But he's just kind of like, oh, yeah, I do that. So she's hype about it. and she gets to hang out and have a romance with main boy.
And then next episode, because this episode ends with a boat showing up, and then Grandma.
Yeah.
Grandma's on the boat, so Grandma will be here.
Grandma's back from England, learning magic. She's gonna fix everything until she's like, nah, I'm not gonna fix everything.
Like I said, I feel like this is gonna end up being Grandma and her compete for main boy.
I kind of hope not.
Go back in time and cuck your grandma.
I kind of really hope they don't do that. But, you know, anything can happen.
Only Grandma knows from the future what happens.
I also caught a hint of potential jealousy between Backup Girl and Class President. Because there's one point where Backup Girl is taking...
Class President or...
not Class...
Oh, the Club President. Okay.
Because she's taking pictures of everyone, and she sees Hitomi and Club President just kind of looking at each other. These two people who just before this moment have never shown any chemistry, and even in this moment don't really show any chemistry. But I can tell by the look on her face that at some point that's going to be a thing.
Gotta have those triangles.
Gotta have triangles.
We'd have overlapping triangles. We're gonna have those three, as well as Grandma and and Painting Boy.
We're gonna make a fucking star out of these overlapping triangles. There's gonna be so many points. It's gonna be great.
All right. Well, we'll have to wait for it and just see what happens when we get there.
Yeah.
And last up is Ulysses, Joan of Arc in the Alchemist Night.
Yes. This episode is shit.
Everything goes bad and the little fairies get stomped.
Yeah, a man stomps a small fairy.
And I felt bad for the fairies. The fairies had a really cute design.
You know, the fairies were pretty adorable, and I did find their childlike wonder endearing. But now they're dead, so I don't have to worry about that.
And Joan of Arc, basically Montmorency ends up meeting Joan of Arc, and he is trying to make a thing to consume the Philosopher's Stone.
Yes.
But Joan of Arc distracts him, so it blows up and it burns his back or something, and he gets knocked out.
Fucks it up super hard because she's this kid who earlier I mentioned several times this week in several different episodes.
Yep.
Young girls looking for larger boobs. You know what? That's what she prays for. And she actually asks him if the elixir will make her boobs bigger as she's fucking with him, and it blows up and it splashes him. And
now he can spit the elixir.
Yeah, because of course he salivates it. He can't just magically create it in his hands.
So to give Joan of Arc the elixir, because their town basically gets attacked and she ends up getting stabbed, and the only way he can save her is by sticking the Philosopher's Stone inside of her, also along with the elixir.
Yeah.
So the elixir he has to, basically give her orally, so...
It is a very long, very prolonged, very kind of uncomfortable, for me personally, kiss. Because it's they go real in it.
Yeah, she really got to lop down that elixir, just really suck it all in.
It's one thing to be I have to do this because if I don't, you will die. There was tongue, man.
Yeah, and then she's talking about how it's making her all hot inside.
Yeah, it was uncomfortable.
Oh, and then he takes the Philosopher's Stone and he shoves it in the gaping stab wound in her back.
Yes, he breaks it in half first because he's since she's just a girl. Since she's just a girl, I will only use half the stone. And then that works for 3 minutes.
And she becomes a twisted psychopath.
Her voice actually changes, and she goes super edgelord anime powers.
And she just murders a bunch of British soldiers and then wants to fight the gun mercenary girl.
Oh, yes. Because
she has bigger boobs.
We did not talk about Opie Mercenary, who shows up this episode. Basically, a mercenary shows up because she's hey, your town is about to get fucked real hard by the English in a couple days. So give me all your food. And since the people basically have no choice, they do that. They give the big titty mercenary all their food. And then
the tower gets attacked, and Montmorency sits by and does nothing until Joan of Arc gets stabbed, and he's like, better go look for her.
Yeah, because he's not a fighter, he's an alchemist. So instead of doing alchemy to help protect the town, he's just like, I guess everyone dies.
And alchemy's fucking magic, just like every setting, so there's no excuse.
Yeah, he had even the excuse that he's not very talented at alchemy doesn't really stand, because he has fucking Asmodeus, the queen of the fairies, with him to help him do alchemy. She can't just be like, hey, to save this town we could do this, this, and this. Nope. They just sit there in the church arguing while tons of people die.
Yeah.
And then it comes down,
and the fairies get stomped.
Yeah. Like,
don't destroy Joan of Arc's home.
Don't burn down her home, you mean man.
And then just...
Yeah, it's hard. It is a hard... You know? They rush back into town to save Joan, and then they all just get wrecked super hard.
To be fair, I don't know what they expected to do.
Nothing.
It looked like they came back to ask nicely.
They might have gotten more results if they had done that.
No, they ran in to ask nicely, like, excuse me, could you please not attack this town?
Please don't kill Joan of Arc's family.
Could you please leave?
And then they don't leave.
And then they go, hey, it's a bunch of fairies, let's kill them.
Fucking vermin. And then they kill the fairies. And then they almost kill Joan. And then there's that real uncomfortable scene. And then there's another scene that's kind of uncomfortable, but for different reasons. Just because it's like, what? What the fuck? Because apparently becoming the Ulysses
makes you an asshole.
Yeah, it amplifies your emotions. And since Joan of Arc is a pubescent girl, it affects her emotions a lot. Because, you know, she's in that stage. She's in that stage of life.
And basically, because of that, the whole village is like, she's been possessed by the devil.
Yeah, and it actually cuts back to the man who is totally not an alchemist, but is just a simple old bookseller, saying, once you become something more than human, you're banned from the church as a heretic. And you know what? She is.
And she ends up leaving, but... a big titty gun girl and Montmorency, and there was like one other guy, a knight dude, that go with them.
One other man with kind of large sword.
They basically form a party, and then they're gonna go do something.
Yeah. They're gonna fight the English, I guess, by themselves.
That's what they're gonna do. Although, to be fair, she's shown that she is pretty capable of that.
Yeah, both her and her one surviving friend have proven to be pretty good in combat. Montmorency is fucking useless, but...
Yeah, he's only good for kisses now.
Everything besides giving Joan powers, he just is useless. But that's everything on our list this week. That's all the stuff we watched.
Yep, that's all the shows.
I'd say a pretty solid week so far.
I enjoyed most of everything.
Yeah.
I feel like the weakest contenders this week were Hinamaru Sumo, Ulysses, and honestly, that's it. I actually didn't have a problem with Bunny Girl Senpai this week. The World in Colors plot, the thing it hinged on was kind of stupid, but I'm still enjoying it.
Yeah, it's still a very pretty show to watch, and I still enjoy watching the characters interact.
And I'm super pumped for JoJo and Goblin Slayer next week, since those had two hard setup episodes.
Yes.
Because next week, the Goblin Slayer party goes into the dungeon, and Giorno gets to fight that guy's stand.
Yes, he fights the Popo stand.
Oh, it's so... I forgot to even mention this one, but yeah, that time I got reincarnated as a slime. That was probably the lowest on the list for me this week.
Yeah.
That was the one where I watched it and was basically like, can this episode hurry up and be over?
Because it didn't really do anything. It just kind of was. It was a wrap up for a mini arc, I guess.
Yeah, I guess I wasn't a fan of that arc, so these episodes haven't been really doing it for me.
It was fine. It seemed like it was mostly just let's establish a few more rules about how the world works with the monsters, etc.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess next week we'll start a new arc, so hopefully that's better.
Yeah. But
yeah, I think we're done.
Exactly.
That is week 4 of this all wrapped up.
Yes. I am still seeing some promise in our shows, and I'm looking forward to next week.
Oh, and we are on Twitter now.
Yes. Follow us at
it's Protagonist. Link in the description.
Yeah, I didn't look. Like, I looked, but I didn't look at it because I'm not that smart. But, yeah, we're on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter. You'll get updates to stuff. Maybe memes. You never know.
Yeah, I was going to discuss that. Are we cool with adding memes to the official Twitter?
I'm always cool with memes. I love memes.
Okay, we'll have memes on the Twitter.
We'll have memes everywhere. I'll put memes all over my body.
Yeah. We're gonna tattoo seasonal anime memes to Ian.
Yes.
Where he'll come in and people will look at him and be like, "What's that from?"
Only I will know.
Yeah. A show that aired like 3 years ago that everyone forgot about.
Yeah, it's actually one of my favorite lines from Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai.
What the fuck is that?
What is that? That doesn't sound like the kind of show I watch.
Dude, My Hero Academia though.
Yeah, 7th season. But if you enjoyed some also important information, give us a like. Give the videos a like. Maybe subscribe. You know, we'll keep doing it.
Yeah, because right now it just feels like we're shouting out into the void.
You know, we kind of are.
To be honest, I don't expect anyone to get this far anyway, since podcasts normally have a huge drop off for this point in the episode.
But
it's like everyone tunes in for the first 10 minutes, and then they're like, eh.
Especially because now we're rambling. We're rambling men, about nothing.
There is no substance here.
There is literally you could just skip through this briefly, and you wouldn't even miss anything.
Yeah, there's nothing of value being said right now.
Why are you even listening to this part? That's pointless.
Why are we still going on?
I don't know. That's a good question.
We should just end it right now.
You know what? We're done.
Yep. We're still here.